Good morning. We're out here today working on the house again. And I've been out here this morning and I cut the rest of the joist. And I'm waiting on some screws. Kezzy went into town to get some chores done. And then I'll finish. It's got to screw off this end. I've done most of this last side over here. Let me get over here. Let's see. Okay, so this side here I got done except for these last 7, and then I got to screw off this entire side here, but I'll just do that off camera probably. And well, the next step is to get some holes drilled in these sill beams, and then I was going to drive these stakes down through there and into the dirt, kind of hold them. I don't, probably it's not necessary, but I just figured it'd be a good idea. If I did them, a couple in between these pucks, and each of them would be like 8 per side. I think there's like 24 total going in. So that's a lot of force to hold this thing from moving. However, that was an $800 idea. So what I did was I went with this rebar. That was an $80 idea. I know it's not as rugged, but I'm just cutting them at 3 foot 3 inches because I can get 3 out of each stick, and that'll give me enough to do the whole thing for $80. Well, that's what I'm set up to do this morning. Pain. So what I'm gonna do here is I don't want to drive my drill bit through that and into the dirt and dull up my bit. I'm gonna do it a little bit, but since this is an 8x8, what I want to do is mark this off. So just be going through there. So about right there. See if I can get this tape going. Okay. Now how are we looking? Boop. A little bit into it. I lost some video of drilling out those sill beams and ended up pretty much burning out this DeWalt. She's getting pretty hot here, and I got her stuck down through a beam. She kept getting jammed up, and it taken a couple of wrenches, you know, to get her out of there. We'd back her out and go back down, and man, she just was having a hard time. And I don't know if it was because it was just an old drill or what, but anyway, I ended up burning her out. So that's kind of what's going on in this section of the video. She's still firecracker hot. I'm gonna let her sit for a while. Well, my drill is cooling off. Maybe I'll drive some of these and I'll see what that's going to be about. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I got a string running down here to keep these things, if they move, I should be able to see it in that string. That way they stay pretty straight. About 20 more and I'll be done. Where are you going? Nowhere. Sure wish I had somebody to hold this for me. Whew, that is going to be a workout, man. Especially with my torn rotator cuffs. Okay. I went and got a little smaller hammer, see if this works a little better. Old shoulders. You know, I think that heavier hammer was better. I might be on a rock. Hello, it's the next day, and I did end up actually burning out that other drill. So that DeWalt, it went down, and I found this old Milwaukee that I actually was given by a neighbor when I was living in Alaska. So I do have a backup, so I'm gonna change this bit out. I took the handle off the DeWalt, and actually the key chuck too, and I'm just kind of making this old tool work. You know, it's funny that DeWalt, I had that thing for, geez, like 30 years, I think. And I believe this one's much older, and she's still kicking, still got some juice in her. Old Milwaukee made good stuff. So we'll get this together, and we'll drill out the rest of them holes. And I still got to screw off the floor joists here. I got all them, the last 7 I got in. Once I get that done, then it's blocking. I've got to cut a bunch of blocking for in here. And you put blocking in, it's just little blocks you put between your floor joists, and what that does is it helps your floor joists stay erect so they don't roll over, and also it stiffens your floor up. So I'm going to add a row of blocking, at least one row down each section here, and that should make a really nice floor, stiff floor. It's pretty beefy, so we'll get busy doing that. No sense wearing these bags. I'm just going to be drilling holes. Pretty heavy. Pretty heavy on an old back. Well, don't have as much nuts as I thought. I gotta go get a tool. Be right back. This is what I needed. As you can smell the cedar. Smells pretty good, man. Come on. Hey. This cedar's really dry. I don't know why this. Big bit, that's for sure. I'd like to just take a minute and ask you guys if you're getting some enjoyment out of this, or you find a little bit of benefit with it. If you could please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get my my numbers up a bit, and I would also appreciate, you know, if there's some suggestion you have as to how I can make any of this a little bit more entertaining. You know, it's kind of a how-to channel. It's pretty straightforward. And in construction, there's a lot of repetition, and sometimes that gets a little boring. So, you know, any suggestions would be great. I'd appreciate that. But if you could please like and subscribe, it really helps. When I put these videos together, for a 20-minute video, it takes about 12 hours of editing to put out. You know, I try to put out a decent product. So, you know, if you like and subscribe it, that just kind of gives me a little boost and lets me know that, you know, people appreciate the work. So, you know, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Rob, and I'm building a house on a homestead in Maine. We moved back here from Alaska 3 years ago, right during, you know, right as COVID was letting up. We got back here, and you know, we're an older couple, and I've been in construction all of my life. So I had a kind of a little running bet that I could build a house for $20,000. That's kind of what this channel is about. So again, thank you for stopping by. That was the easiest one. Man, that is quite the workout. This goes to my old saying, if you want to stay young, lift heavy shit. Not bad for a dude that's going to be 60 on his next birthday. 32 of them. Pounded in and done. I'm glad of it. Out of all those 32 of them, only one of them wouldn't go all the way, because I believe after I pounded on that thing for about 10 minutes that I'm sitting on a rock, something like that, because what's underneath this here right here is ledge and boulders. So I think that's what I've got going on here. I'm just going to cut that off flush. I mean, most of these things are down in the ground 3 feet. I cut them 3'3" and let's see, we got 8, 9, 10 inches. So 38 minus 10, so they're 28 inches into the ground. And that one's looks like it's, might be 20 inches into the ground, but all 32 of them. I don't believe this thing will ever go anywhere. I don't believe it's going to slide one iota. I ought to just, I don't know, I think it's a pretty good design for somebody who wants to build, something cheap. Just shoot in them pucks, build on top of that. When I go to backfill, I'll fill underneath all these beams, I'll have washed rock under there. So it's all going to be sitting really pretty much right on gravel, and it's dry, so I don't have to worry about that. Not a bad substitute for concrete foundation, really. That's my opinion of it anyway.
Good morning. Today I'm mixing up the brine to make some smoked salmon that I'll then can. I've already got the salt in the water. And we need brown sugar and maple syrup. And this sits for a full 24 hours in the brine, so it's going to be a couple of days in the making. Because I'm going to can it, I won't put a heavy smoke on it because I don't want to dry it out too much. If you dry your salmon out too much in the smoker, it just isn't so good. You don't get a nice taste, you don't get a nice bite on it. It just tastes too well done. So, now we need brown sugar made up. So we're going to, just put a light smoke on it. We'll get everything started today. The fish will sit in the brine for 24 hours. There we go. Before it goes into the smoker. Alright, the brine is mixed. We have 5 fillets to brine up. I'm going to slice these through almost down to the skin across the fish. And I do that for 2 reasons. I think it lets the brine get in to all of the meat better, and it makes it much easier to separate into strips when I'm putting it in jars for canning. Each strip is probably 3/4 of an inch. You just want to make really sure that you don't go all the way through the skin, or you will have a mess when you go to smoking. There we go. And that is what they look like. Here's the next one. On a couple of these I had to pluck some of the bones. They weren't boned as cleanly as I would have liked to see them, but that's okay. And the bones do dissolve when you're brining and smoking and canning. I just have a thing about clean fish. Now, these will go, actually, skin side up into the brine. I had the other one flipped for a minute to get the skin nice and briny. Every little bit helps. And there we go. I will get the rest of these done up. And we'll let them brine for 24 hours before they go into the smoker. Okay, everybody is in the brine and off to the fridge we go for 24 hours. We'll be back tomorrow. Put these on the smoker. Day 2, the salmon is out of the brine. The other pan is already set aside, and they will glaze overnight, and tomorrow we'll put a quick smoke on them and can things up. And there is the pan of fish. This will actually, when they're in half pints and pints, will net quite a lot of smoked fish for the winter. This is a holdover from Alaska. Every summer we went fishing, and when we got back, we smoked the salmon, canned a bunch of it. A lot of it went into the freezer, but it's awfully good stuff. Alright, the smoker has finished. I'll check and see what the fish look like, how they smell. Oh yeah, there's what we want. Okay. Yep, got a little bit of a glaze on it. It smells nice and smoky. We are good to go. It's time to get jars out. Okay, our fish is out of the canner. I've got some of it with me. It's beautiful salmon. It's incredibly delicious. One thing you'll want to keep in mind when you put this in your pressure canner, the directions will always tell you not to add any liquid. I put a little bit of olive oil in and maybe 1/8 of a cup of water, because if you don't, the fish is just too dry. It cans up just fine. Also, the brine that we used is, I think I used a half a gallon of water, a cup of kosher salt, rough sea salt sort, 2 cups of brown sugar, and then I'll mix up some honey and water, just enough to brush some on the fish while it smokes, and then we smoke it for about 2.5 hours. We're not trying to cook it or dry it out, we just want the smoky flavor, and this is the end result. It's really good. If you ever get a chance to try it, give it a go. I think you'll enjoy it.